Cole, I give you a sheet? Nope. All right, guys, make sure your phones are off your desk, please. All right, we got a new problem. We got a graph. Again, I'm not sure y'all graphed these last year. These are fractions. Trying to see which kind of problem I want to do first. Might as well do number one. All right, so everybody does need a color pencil. Justin, you got one?
Sure, sir.
You need at least one.
Are we solving out these like we do the other?
All right, here's how we're going to do these. I didn't look over this last night. I think I remember how to do it. Cool. Horizontal. All right, one time I want y'all to write down these words. Every other time we will just say VA and HA. To be able to graph these, you need a vertical asymptote and a horizontal asymptote. And all that is imaginary lines. So again, write the words down one time. After one time, we'll just say VA and HA and just abbreviate. All right, so write these down under number one. We've got to be able to find the VA and the HA. RJ, let's just leave it open. We got so many kids that are. One was Jesse, set it right there. Jesse, get one of these sheets and get a color pencil off my desk when you walk by, please. All right, here we go. To find the vertical, this is the easy part. All you guys do is set what's on the bottom of the fraction equal to 0. So write down x plus 1 equals 0. We move plus 1 over, that's a negative 1. That's where your dotted line goes. Negative 1 on the x-axis, put a dotted line. I need everybody to put a dotted line on your paper, right there. Does everybody see how we got that? Just take what's on the bottom, set it equal to 0. And if you would, guys, in the future, draw your dotted lines with a color in the future. Okay? All right, to find the HA, the horizontal, it's a little bit harder. You got to look at your exponents. Sometimes you're going to have, I'm going to make this up. If you have something like this where you have an exponent on the bottom, because you guys know that's a 1 there and there, right, if you don't see an exponent. If you have an exponent on the bottom and you don't have one on the top, that's automatically y equals 0. Okay, but when you have the same exponent on top and bottom, you have to divide the numbers that are in front of the x's. So 1 divided by 1 is y equals 1. So it's going to be either this way or this way, and you have to look and see which way it is. We good? So go to y equals 1, up 1, draw another dotted line. Now again, this is probably the first time y'all done these. Y'all might have skipped this last year. You might have done this last year, I guess, depending on who you have. So we'll go slow with this. All right, so after that, you got one more thing you got to do. We have to plug in 4 points so we know where our shape is on our graph. So how do we pick the numbers to plug in? It's really easy. Look at your vertical line. I want y'all to plug in 2 numbers directly on the right, so we'll plug in 0 and 1, and then go to the left side and plug in the closest numbers too, negative 2 and negative 3. So negative 2, negative 3, 0, and 1. Question about that? It doesn't matter the order that you write these numbers down. I don't care which order you write them down. We've already calculated. All right, so now all we have to do is plug them in the calculator. So when you plug the first number, -2 on top, the bottom's -2 plus 1. All you have to do is plug it in. Now, if you do it in your head, great. So everybody needs to hit the fraction button first. Everybody hit alpha X on your calculator and go ahead and get the fraction bar on your screen. So then up top, I got -2. The bottom's -2 plus 1. What do y'all have? Answer's 2. So nobody should miss one of those. Either do it in your head or plug it in. All right, plug the next number in. Go plug in -3. So I got -3 on top. The bottom's -3 plus 1. And again, you just plug it in. Hit your alpha X to get your fraction bar on your screen. -3 on the top, -3 plus 1. What y'all got?
3/2.
Okay, if it gives you a fraction, make it a decimal form. So how do we make that a decimal in this calculator? I think if you hit math, it's got a decimal button right there, number 2. Let's see. That does it for you. So I got 1.5. Everybody good on the buttons on the calculator? Anybody need to see one?
Yeah.
Which one, the fraction button? CJ hit alpha, and then the button right next to it, and it puts a fraction bar up there. Anybody else need to see it? Trey, we good? Right here, Lala. Alpha.
I'm wondering how you're getting all these numbers.
How I'm getting the numbers on the left column. You see my dotted line going up and down? Okay, I chose 2 numbers on the right. That's how I got 0 and 1. And I chose 2 numbers on the left. That's how I got -2 and -3. You're going to do that every time. Okay. All right, plug in 0. That one's going to be 0, I'm guessing. Correct? And then plug in 1. We'll have 1 on top over 2. That's 1/2, which is 0.5. All right, so now all we have to do, the last thing we have to do is graph these 4 points.
So the vertical aspect is -1.
The vertical's -1, the horizontal's +1. All right, so I go -2 up to put a point. There's my first point right there. Okay, I go -3 up 1.5. -3 up 1.5 is right there. 0, 0 is right in the middle. That's the origin. Then over 1, how do I go up 0.5? I go up halfway. Over 1, up halfway between 1 and 2. Or 0 and 1. All right, now look, we could plug in 6 points if you wanted to. I think 4 is enough. All we're trying to do is get an idea. All right, these shapes are going to be curves that never hit the dotted lines. I hit it right there. I shouldn't have done that. Curves that never hit the dotted lines. By plugging in 4 points, it shows us which quadrant the curves are in. All right, so that's the whole problem. Anybody got a question for me? We're going to do a lot of these today.
So is there gonna be any more coloring like we did have been doing?
Not on these. Not on these. All right, let's do another one just like that one. Let's see if I can find one. Let's do number 4. All right, can I go to the next screen? Why don't you guys try to start number 4 the same way we started number 1. See how far y'all get. I'm writing it down.
Number 4?
Number 4. It's just like number 1. Remember, we'll just abbreviate and write VA and HA. We've already wrote the words down one time. All right, so looking back at number 1, how did we find the vertical asymptote? How did we find the vertical line?
You take the number and put it to the next to 0, you get a negative number.
Okay, which numbers do I use, Fisher?
2.
The ones on the bottom. You only use the bottom number. So 2x plus 2 equals 0. Write it down. You got to write that down somewhere. Unless you can do it in your head. Now we got to solve for x on that.
-2 divided by 2.
Very good. We take positive 2 and move it over. That gives me a negative 2. When I divide it, what do I get?
-1.
So your dotted line is -1 on the x-axis. -1 dotted line. And the same place it was last time. All right, so the vertical is easy. What did we say about the horizontal? We did something with the exponents. Let's look back. I said if the exponents are equal on top and bottom, what did I say you had to do? Y'all remember? You had to divide the numbers that are in front. So we did 1 divided by 1 on the last one. All right, so what do we do on this one?
2.
4 divided by 2 is y equals 2. You don't have to write anything down if you don't want to. You can just divide. All right, so I go up 2 dotted line. All right, so we did it a lot faster this time. All right, last thing we have to do is plug in points in our XY chart. How do I pick my 4 numbers? Y'all remember? 2 numbers on the right, 2 numbers on the left. So on the right side, we're going to plug in 0 and 1. On the left side, we'll plug in -2 and -3. And remember, the order you write these down does not matter. All right, now it's just plug them in your calculator. So if you plug in 0, I'm going to give you all a little more time. It'd be 4 times 0 minus 4 on top. The bottom is 2 times 0 plus 2. All right, plug in the first one. Get your fraction button first. There you go. Top, 4 times 0 minus 4. Bottom is 2 times 0 plus 2. Yep. All right, plug them all in. RJ for the first one got -2. Y'all plug in the last 3 and we'll just check. Let me show you what fraction button is.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see.
We'll give us a look every now and then, make sure it's lined up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wish I needed.
You had it all the way over here. And I
Yeah,
moved
my
it.
bad. Just kind of keep it lined up. All right, what did y'all get when y'all plugged 1 in? I'm just going to use y'all's answers. Everybody get 0?
Yep.
All right, let's see if you plug in -2. Let's see what we get. -2. Yeah, if y'all get a different answer, let me know. -8.
I got 6.
I got +6 when I plugged in -2. Now I'm going to plug in -3 real quick. We'll see what we get.
4.
That's -16, -6 plus 2. I got the same thing Fisher got. Now, I did those in my head. Do I need to look back at one? Daniel, is that the right answer? You got the same thing? So I need to go back and check this one? You got 6, okay. Okay, you can use my answer. All right, y'all graph those 4 and then draw your curves. Remember, just don't cross the dotted lines when you draw your curves. Your curves are supposed to hug the dotted lines. That's why we're putting those dotted lines on there. It's just like a guide for us so we don't cross them. Let's look at it. Hope I didn't mess up. Over 0, down 2 is right here. Over 1, up 0 is right there.
Let's see.
-2, up 6. -3, up 4. All right, check mine, make sure we got the same thing. And just draw your curves. And remember, guys, just get it close to the dotted lines. As long as you're close on that, I'm going to give you credit. We could plot more points and get it exactly right. That takes too much time. Out. You want me to plug in 0? All right, you got that one. So which one did you miss? And I'll do it for you. Okay, so on top you'll do 4 Anybody else got a question before we do another type?
Wouldn't they eventually hit the dotted line if they kept going?
No. Yeah, I mean, mine would, CJ, but if you did it right, it's gonna just hug it, and it's never gonna cross it. So just don't cross the dotted lines and you're fine. All right, let's see if there's another one like this before I do a different type problem. Okay, those are the only, 1 and 4 are the only ones that are like that. So now we're gonna go to number 5. All right, 5 is a different type. Five's just a little different. It's pretty similar, just a little different. All right, so number 5, y equals 5 plus x plus 3. All right, same thing though, guys. We got to find the VA and the HA. This is our third problem doing this. We should start getting the hang of it. Voila. One of these. Isn't that back?
Yeah, I can't believe it.
That's okay. You don't have to redo it. All right, so on all the other problems, how do we find the VAs? Third time we should have it by now. What do we do? Take the bottom, set it equal to 0. So if I got x plus 3 equals 0, I move it over. What do I get? All right, so my dotted line's at -3 this time. All right, that is the same on every type problem. You just set the bottom equal to 0 and get an answer. Sure. All right, let's go to the HA now, guys. This one is different. Look back at the last problem we did. We had an x on top, x on the bottom. They had the same exponent, so we divided. Look at this one. All right, this is one where you only have an exponent on the bottom. We don't even have an exponent on the top. What did I say the answer is for this type? Y'all remember? Well, automatically y equals 0. So it's going to be one way or the other, Trey. You just got to look and see if you got exponents on both sides or just one side. All right, so now draw your dotted line at 0, which is right here. All right, so that was the only difference in number 5 compared to number 4. All right, now explain to me, how do I pick my 4 numbers again? 2 on the right, 2 on the left. If I go on the right side, I'm going to plug in -1 and -2. If I go on the left side of that vertical line, I'm going to plug in -4 and -5. All right, you guys plug them in your calculator, find your 4 answers, and we're done with that. Yep, that's right. The bottom, the -1 plus 3. That's the decimal. Math, decimal to. You've never seen that before. You get something. The equals. There you go. Where's the decimal button? Hit the math button, which is right here underneath the green button. And then hit equals. Remember, guys, make it a decimal if it gives you a fraction. And so Allison had 2.5 for the first one. Y'all can check that. All right, plug in -2. Show what you get. What do we got? Plug in -2. Show what you get. 5 on top, bottom -2 plus 3. Yep. 2 plus 3. RJ got 5 on that one. RJ plug in -460. Hey guys, look, when y'all get one like this, RJ got -5. If one's +5 and one's -5, then probably what's going to happen, I'm guessing, if this is +2.5, is that going to be -2.5? All right, so use the pattern if it's got one. You don't have to. You can plug it in if you need to. All right, graph your 4 points, draw your curves, then we'll go to number 2. So -1 up 2.5, -2 up 5, -4 down 5, -5 down 2.5. Alright, so I got a point, I got a curve there, I got a curve there. Alright, check mine, make sure we have our curves in the same spots. Oh, I don't have one there.
Yes, because I didn't
Okay.
get negative on the.
Alright, any question on 5 before we go to number 2? Alright, let's go to number 2. Y equals 6 over x minus 2 times x plus 3. Okay, we're going to start off the same way. We got to find our VA. Now, what's different about this problem?
They're distributed.
Well, you could do that, Fisher, but that would make it messy. This has got 2 different problems on the bottom, right? So we got to get an answer for both of them. So if I have x minus 2 equals 0 and move it over, that first answer is positive 2. And if I have x plus 3 equals 0 and move it over, the second answer is negative 3. So we've got to put a dotted line at both of these numbers. I got one dotted line at positive 2. I got one dotted line at negative 3. So if you have 2 problems on the bottom, you're going to have two dotted lines going up and down. All right, so when we find the HA, which type problem is this? Is this a problem where the exponents are the same and we divide, or is this a problem where you have exponents on the bottom and none on the top? Yeah, there's none on the top, so it's automatically y equals 0, just like we did on number 5. Okay, I need y'all to watch me plug in the numbers. All right, normally we plug in 4 numbers, right? We're going to have to plug in 5 this time. We got to plug in 1 extra number. So the numbers I want you to plug in. Let's go all the way on the left, and let's plug in the numbers on the left side of that dotted line. So we'll plug in -4, -5. All right, let's go all the way on the right, Troy. Let's plug in numbers on the right side, which is 3 and 4. 3 and 4, and I need y'all to plug in one number for the middle section. Plug in a number that's kind of right in the center. So you could plug in 0 or -1, doesn't matter. I'm going to plug in 0. Doesn't matter. All right, so you have to plug in 1 extra number on this type problem. All right, now plugging these in the calculator takes a little more time. We got 6 on top. -4 minus 2 goes here, that's -6. -4 plus 3 is -1. So I did some of that in my head to make it easier. You don't have to. You can plug -4 minus 2 there and -4 plus 3 in that parenthesis. I don't care how you do it. Plug it in your calculator and let's see what we get on the first answer. Got 6 on top.
1.
Fisher says 1. Let's see if I get 1. I got 1 for the first answer. All right, so you guys go down and plug in the remaining 4 numbers, and we'll check your 4 answers. Did I mess up, Dan? Yes. Yep. So Now, when you plug in numbers, remember, you gotta plug it in here and here. So I gotta plug in -5, so that's gonna be -5 minus 2, and that's gonna be -5 plus 3. 6 on top. Alright, guys, I got a fraction when I plugged in -5, so make it a decimal. What's your decimal? I got 0.428, so I'm just gonna say 0.4. Does everybody see how I got that? I had 3/7 for my fraction. I made the decimal, it gave me 0.4. You can just write one number after the decimal, we don't have to write them all. Alright, so now I'm gonna plug in 3 there and there. So the first one will be 3 minus 2, the second one will be 3 plus 3. 6 on top. Guys, I got 1 again. Somebody let me know if that's good. Y'all get 1, Christian says I'm good.